Joining me right now with an update on where we stand on the big, beautiful bill is Missouri Congressman Jason Smith. He is the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Always great to be with you, Maria.
So can you give us an update on where we are? When are you expecting the Senate to deliver that and finish it and send it to the House? And what are the main issues from your standpoint today?
So it's game time over in the United States Senate. I expect for the senators to work throughout the weekend to get that bill into a good place that it can be sent back to the House and hopefully where the House can pick up and pass it and send it to the president's desk. I've been pushing with my colleagues over there, Maria. You have to maintain balance. Unfortunately, we have seen the Senate parliamentarian do several rulings that have been counter to the proposals that was in the House bill, which has cost a lot of savings. And of course, this was the largest cut in U.S. history to mandatory spending. And it was a big red line of what we had to do to balance to make sure we had the tax cuts, the spending cuts, and of course, the border security and national defense.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this because we just showed a picture of the parliamentarian. I don't understand how the Senate parliamentarian, one staffer, has the power to force hundreds of billions of dollars in changes in the big, beautiful bill. How one Senate staffer has the power to overrule the House, the Senate, and the President of the United States. How is that possible?
It's absolutely frustrating. This is what happens when the American people don't keep an eye on Washington, Maria, because an unelected individual of the American people should never have that kind of power. There's 100 United States senators. They should make that decision, not someone that they hire. That creates a huge problem. We need to make sure we have consistency, but we need to make sure that everything is being carried out for the American people appropriately.
So what are you going to do now? I mean, you are losing offsets left and right. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told the Senate to scrap the so-called revenge tax. Now, I mean, look, I agree. This had tons of unintended consequences. This is Section 899. He said, take it out from the big, beautiful bill. He writes this on X. This understanding with our G7 partners provides greater certainty and stability for the global economy and will enhance growth and investment in the United States and beyond. The Treasury Secretary will join us coming up. He's going to be here coming up at 7:30. So I hope everybody will join us so that he can give us more clarity on this. But even before he did that, we had the news on this program. I spoke with National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, who first broke the news earlier this week. Watch this. There are plenty of people who feel that 899 is capturing more people, more companies than intended. So, sure, you want to make sure that you've got something in place to hit back at foreign countries who are, charging us things like digital tax, et cetera, et cetera. But is it also hitting investors who are investing in America, who you want to encourage to continue investing in America, but now they're facing an additional tax?
Our hope is we're in negotiations with our leading trading partners. Our hope is that they issue policy pronouncements today or tomorrow that make it so that we don't need to include 899 in the bill. That's our hope.
But you think there's a chance that 899 comes out of this bill?
I sure do, yeah.
And, of course, it's coming out of the bill. Mr. Chairman, your reaction.
Maria, this is a huge win for America. I could not be happier that 899 is coming out of the bill because I have said all along that if these foreign governments would drop their discriminatory taxes against U.S. businesses, we would drop 899. And guess what? Even last week, Maria, I was in Europe meeting with these finance ministers. This is something that the Ways and Means Committee has been working on for more than 2 years because, unfortunately, the Biden administration entered into an unbelievable, ridiculous agreement with the OECD and these foreign governments just because they didn't like like President Trump's successful 2017 global minimum tax. So they didn't want U.S.'s global minimum tax, which was the first global minimum tax ever passed by any country, not be recognized. And that's what the Biden administration agreed to. Our G7 partners have agreed to honor guilty our global minimum tax. And as part of that, myself, Chairman Crapo, has agreed to take $8.99 out of the bill. $8.99, Maria, was only there to make sure we held our foreign friends accountable for their inappropriate tax policy on U.S. businesses.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Mr. Chairman, look, the way I see it, it looks like you still have at least 4 or 5 areas of compromise that still need to be done. You've got SALT, the pass-through for small business. You've got Medicaid. Well, maybe Medicaid's decided. You tell us. You've got the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, and all those green energy credits. You've got SNAP and some other extras like student loan, student lending, AI, et cetera, et cetera. So where are you on those other main points here in terms of compromise?
So my friends on the other side of the building in the Senate are starting to realize that what we accomplished in the House of Representatives by threading a very careful needle to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill more than 5 weeks ago was all about balance. That is what the Senate has to maintain right now to get their 51 votes over there and to make sure that whatever they change can be passed in the House. We passed it originally 215 to 214 in the House of Representatives. When you look at the Medicaid reforms, there has to be balance. When you're looking at all the spending cuts, there has to be balance. But also in the green credits, we cut more than $500 billion of the green credits in the House of Representatives. The Senate bill is a little bit less. We need to make sure we maintain balance because it's all about maintaining votes. And let's deliver it, put on the president's desk so he can sign into law on July 4th.
So Maya McGuinness at the Council for a Responsible Federal Budget says that, look, the Council of Economic Advisors, the White House, obviously estimated that the reconciliation bill will grow the economy by 5% after 4 years. No other modeler finds that kind of growth, Congressman. So I want to get your take on this because she says the ultimate growth effects will be about 1/10 of that. So what kind of growth are you expecting out of this bill should it pass on time? This is a key question. President Trump keeps saying don't forget about the growth that the bill is going to bring. She's arguing it's not going to be 5%.
Well, Maria, let's just look at what the Congressional Budget Office estimated the growth of this bill. It was 1.8%. 1.8. If you look at the average growth rate over the last 50 years, we've been at 2.7%. 2.7%. I think it is very easy for our growth rate to be 3% or more. I believe the upwards to 5% because the provisions within this bill making permanent all the successful provisions of the 2017 Trump tax cuts plus additional tax incentives like 100% expensing for factories in the United States. This helps promote made in America products, helps U.S. manufacturers. There's a lot of incentives in there to help U.S. farmers. And of course, everyday Americans, whether it's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax relief for seniors, this is going to be a mega boost to the economy. And the growth rate is going to lead to more revenues coming into the federal government's coffers to help eliminate that deficit.
Yeah, and we're already seeing real revenues from the president's tariff plans, I should point out. But look, this has basically been baked into the system, Congressman. Everybody's expecting this to happen. And, I spoke with the Bank of America chairman and CEO Brian Moynihan the other day. He said if this doesn't happen for any reason, it will be a shock to the system. So as you've said in the past, failure is not an option. Yeah, that's what the markets and the economy are betting on as well. We're watching your work. It's important work, Congressman. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Maria. Have a great morning.
Mr. Chairman, you too. Jason Smith.